What up, NBA fans, Wall Street Hit My Line fans? It's me, Wall Street Hit My Line. And today I want to hit your line with some news about Egor Demin, which is a name that I assume many of you have probably never heard before. And I recently came to know who Egor is because he is shooting up NBA draft boards like I have never seen. So before the season started, since I'm a Wizards fan, I spend a lot of time looking at mock drafts because that's typically the biggest part of our season and has been for several years now. Hopefully one day it will not be. But while we look towards a better future, I look at our possible new beginnings that we might start by drafting young players in the NBA draft. So obviously this upcoming draft in 2025 has been regarded as a very talent-heavy draft. Obviously Cooper Flagg is the projected number one pick, with Ace Bailey also being a highly touted prospect coming out of Rutgers. Dylan Harper right behind him, also at Rutgers. And just recently, it seems like Egor Demin has really popped into the spotlight. I'm assuming this is mainly because the college basketball season has just started. There's been a few games played by most teams at this point, probably 2 or 3. And, before this, I didn't even really see his name in the lottery. And now people are saying that this guy, Egor Demin, has the potential to go number one over Cooper Flagg, which I'm not ready to go there yet, but I did watch some tape on this guy, Egor. He's a shooting guard at BYU, and he really kind of plays more like a point guard, but he's 6'9", he's a freshman, and he's originally from Russia and spent a lot of time playing with the Real Madrid organization over in Spain. I believe he played with their junior team, and then I believe he also played on their main roster as well. But basically this guy's been playing professional basketball since he was 15 or 16 years old, and we know how that typically translates to the NBA. Look at a guy like Luka Doncic, who's been playing professional basketball overseas since he was 15 or 16, and then eventually comes to the NBA as a big star. So it does have a lot of potential for players that kind of follow this path, but they can also, we've seen players in the past who have also not really panned out like this, and they wind up going back to Europe. But this guy is very interesting. I mean, he basically plays like I said, he's a point guard, but he's 6'9", so it's a little bit different, I guess. I mean, we see a lot more bigger guards now, and I don't want to say that he plays like Ben Simmons, because I think this guy's a better scorer than Ben Simmons. He's currently averaging 17.3 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 7.7 assists per game for the BYU Cougars, and he's shooting an astonishing 63.6% from the field. So, last game, put up 14 points, 5 assists, 27 minutes of action. Game before that, 20 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds. Game before that, 18 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds. So he's got a lot of potential to be a very well-rounded, all-round player. And he plays hard. He plays with energy. So that's a good sign. I would not go as far yet to say that he's going to take over Cooper Flagg's spot as the projected number one pick. I just think that would be crazy. I think GMs would be kicking themselves for not taking Cooper Flagg number one overall. I think we've just been seeing this guy for so long. He just played, scrimmages with the USA basketball team this offseason, was holding his own. I just think at this point, Cooper Flagg is too proven from an amateur standpoint, and I guess semi-pro standpoint, if you want to consider college a semi-pro league at this point. Now that they are getting paid for it, hallelujah. But just to give a comparison of, Cooper Flagg has also played 3 games on the season at Duke, and he has been averaging 19 points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game, and 3.3 assists per game. So if you put that on a 36, or per 36, I should say, standpoint, he's averaging 24 points per game, 12.1 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 2.1 blocks, and 2.1 steals. So I just don't know. And on top of that, obviously, I'm typically the big proponent of like age really does not matter in the NBA. Like if you're picking between a guy who's averaging 30 points per game, you know, in college, and a guy who's averaging 20, and the guy who's averaging 20 is, you know, 18 years old, and the guy averaging 30 is 23 years old. If the guy who's averaging 30 has more potential and more game, you should pick that guy. But a lot of NBA teams are not going to do that because they're so focused on age and guys developing over time and getting experience in the NBA, so that they think, okay, well, when this 18-year-old is 23, he'll be averaging 30 in the NBA, right? So it doesn't always work out like that. So you can be a little, you know, twist in that regard. But my point about Cooper in comparison to Egor is that Cooper is, you know, he might have just turned 18. I don't even think he might not even be 18 yet. But Igor's already 19. I don't think he'll be 20 by the time the draft comes around, but it's a year difference. It doesn't really make that big a deal. But Egor is clearly more of a playmaker. So I think there's more of a conversation to be had to be like, well, will Egor step above Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper and VJ Edgecombe? It looks like he's already beating out VJ Edgecombe in most of the mocks I checked out. He's above Trey Johnson as well, guard from Texas. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with Trey Johnson. You know, Nolan Traore has dropped a decent amount as well. Nolan Traore was supposed to go top 5. I'm now seeing him between like 9 and 12 on most mocks. So still a lottery pick, but, you know, it's definitely shaped up a little bit differently throughout the first, you know, week of the college season, and it'll probably shape up a lot more. But I think Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey are probably locks for the top 3. I think it's really a conversation of like, well, does Egor go number 2? Does Egor go number 3? Does he stay in the top 5? Like, what's the deal, right? So, you know, I don't follow college basketball as much as I do the NBA. Obviously, the NBA is my biggest thing that I like to watch, but, you know, I do watch college basketball when I get to see prospects that are certainly ready to come to the league and are going to enter their name in the draft. So I'll probably be paying attention a little bit more, you know, watching BYU games. Definitely going to be watching a lot of Duke games for sure. And I want to see Rutgers play too. I mean, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper being on the same team and then being projected, you know, basically number 2 and 3 right now in the draft is pretty crazy. I don't think we've really seen something like that since, you know, like Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist when they went 1 and 2 in the 2012 NBA draft. And obviously, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist did not pan out to be what he was in college. At the NBA level, he was a very solid defender, very good rebounder for his size, but was not really a good offensive player at all, right? But I think Ace Bailey, I think Dylan Harper, and I think Egor Demin are all going to be pretty good NBA players and well-rounded NBA players at that. So if you guys have not heard of Egor, I recommend checking out some of his highlights. He's a pretty interesting player to watch. It's going to be super interesting to see how he kind of progresses through his season at BYU, and seeing if he, you know, elects to put his name into the draft and, you know, where he's going to get picked and where he'll be, you know, come this time next year, you know, after the 2025 draft is all said and done. So let me know what you guys think. What are your thoughts on the upcoming draft class? Do you think, you know, we're going to see a shakeup at the top? Do you think Cooper Flagg has any chance to not go number 1? I want to know what you guys think. So leave some comments down below. As always, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up to support the channel so I can keep doing this content for you guys. And if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you did not like the video, please give me a thumbs down. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know how you're feeling. It's meant to be a discussion, so I want to hear from you guys. But without further ado, I'll catch you guys with the next one. Stay safe, watch some basketball, take it easy. Peace.